Hello guys, and welcome again to yet another iRONiX media video. Now, like I promised in my last video, I had promised that I would do a tutorial on how to edit your videos, be it on your PC or on your smartphone. Now, I figured out it would be better to first of all start with the PC version before I go to the smartphone, because some of the ideologies that we are going to use when editing on the PC are kind of the same, are much more easier, to understand when it comes to editing on your smartphone. Now, the application that I'm going to show you with is called Filmora. It's one of the greatest applications. Again, like I mentioned in my last video, it's the application that I recommend when it comes to editing your videos if you're a beginner or you are that kind of a person who doesn't want that so many overwhelming effects on your videos. So let's start the video. So let's start the application. Here it is. The version that I'm using right now is Filmora X, but you can still use an Filmora 9, Filmora, I think 11. I don't know whether 11 is out yet, but you can go and check it out. But the procedure and method that we are going to use is still the same. And again, if you are using Windows or Mac OS, don't worry, it's still the same procedure. So let's wait for it to load. Now, the first thing that you are going to see if you are starting the application for the first time, it's going to show you your previous projects and also the project aspect ratio settings. The project ratio is basically the dimensions that you want to edit, the kind of dimensions that your video was recorded in. For example, if you recorded your video in landscape mode, most of the time you're going to use this dimension, this ratio called 16:9, which is widescreen. If you recorded a video for Instagram, you're going to use this aspect ratio. It's the recommended one for Instagram videos. If you maybe recorded your video in form of portrait mode, tuseme pengine ulikuwa na record ya TikTok, you can use the 9:16, which is portrait mode. You can also use the standard version, which is almost square, which is 4:3, and that's the standard dimensions. And also the 21:9, which is the cinema mode. So right now we are just going to leave it at widescreen because that's the kind of video that I'm going to show you with, but it all depends. If you are going to use a portrait one, well and good. So let's leave it like that and then click on new project. Now, this is the Filmora interface, and it basically consists of three main parts. We have this media part where you're going to drop all the video clips, images, audio, be it anything that you are going to include on your video, or all that stuff, you are going to drop them all up here. Now, tuseme maybe you want to drop your video, all you have to do is click on this plus. There are many ways of doing it. So the first one, you're going to click on that plus and then go to the location where you have saved the video that you want to edit. Let's say the location is somewhere here. You can just click on this video, whether if it's the one that you want to edit, and then click on open, and it's going to drop itself there automatically. Another method you can use is just going to the location on your Windows Explorer. Let's say umeisave huku, you can just take the video and drag it all the way to the application itself here. It's the same method. It's the same method that you're going to use. Let's say unataka kudrop hii, you just drag it all the way to the media section. Now this media section, you are going to see a bunch of other tabs here. We have the audio tab, where you can select the audio library that comes with this application called Filmora. It basically comes with its own songs, but you can always add your own if you want. It also has this titles tab where you can select, I think my computer is a bit slow, but sorry. We have this audio tab where you can select the kind of text that you want. Maybe tuseme unataka kuselect kama hii. You can double click so that you can preview how the text is going to look like on your video. If you, for example, click this other one here, you can see. So you can select the one that you want, ama yenye itakufurahisha, and add it to your video. I'm going to explain how to add this onto this part here called the timeline. So let's just leave it at there. We also have the transition tab, which includes all the kinds of transitions that you want to add on your videos, and there are many of them. Again, we are going to come back to them. We also have the effects tab, where there are this bunch of effects that you can add to your video, be it the mosaic, strong glitch is also there. It all depends on the one that you want. So there is also this elements tab, where you can select, oh my goodness, where you can select all these bunch of stuff that you can see here. They are kind of animations that you can add to your video if you want to make it more enticing. We also have the split screen, which also has the different types of split screens that you want if you are creating a video which involves split screen. We shall come back to this media part over here. This other part where you can see the dark thing, this is the part which we call the playback area. The playback area is basically where you are going to see what you are doing. Let's say you have added this video and you want to see what you have done to this video. So let us say you want to see this video play. All you have to do is press the space bar so that you can play your video and see whatever is going on your project. Let us just leave it at there. So we have this other third part which we now call the timeline, or basically the workplace. This is where you are going to place all your clips, all your pictures, all your videos, and then work on them according to how you want them to appear. This is basically where you are going to either trim your videos, add a video on top of a video, or even you can add your audio. If you want to add a background song, maybe ikichezea na huko kwa background, you can do all that stuff over here. Huko ndiko utafanya hiyo takataka yote. Yeah, let me just call it takataka. So let's say you want to edit this video over here. All you have to do is drag it all the way to the timeline. Now when you drag it for the first time, it's going to tell you that the resolution or frame rate of this media does not match the settings of this project. There's mostly a notification that comes when you record your videos either with your phone, but it doesn't have any problem. It is going to ask you whether you want to change the project settings to match this media. The project settings of this video is 1920 by 1080, and this is the resolution. It also has 25 frame rates per second, but in order to avoid many problems, just click on match to media. When you click on match to media, the video itself will adjust according to the project settings that we selected earlier on. Now when you drag the video onto your timeline, it's going to basically show you a preview of how your video looks like. As you can see, if you drag all the way, you are going to even see the audio waveforms over here. These audio waveforms are basically a graphic representation of how your audio looks like. For example, if you look at this part, it is blank. So hii part yenye unaona iko blank, this is the part of the video where there is no audio. Maybe you are recording and maybe ukasahau nini ulikuwa unataka kusema, and so this part remained silent. But this other part over here, as you maybe I can play it for you so that you can listen.
Now in creating YouTube content, the first thing that you need is a YouTube channel. And how do you get it?
Yeah, so as you can see, this is where I was talking now. This is where I was talking. So the first thing when you are starting to edit your videos is basically removing the parts that you don't want your audience to see, and that is what we are first of all going to do. Now in order to do that, we are going to use this line over here, this line over here. It's called the playback head, and this playback head is the element or tool that you can use to show your computer that this is the part where I want my video to play, or you basically want to cut your video. So let's say you want to edit out this part over here. As you can see, hapa sikuwa naongea, and I want to start my video in this section over here. As you can see, hapa ndipo nimeanza kuongea, this part over here. So what I'm going to do is drag the playback head all the way to the section that I want to cut, and then select the clip. And then if I want to cut, you click on this scissors. Hii part yenye unaona ka icon ka scissors. Yeah, this is the part which you can use to split your video. So just click on it, and as you can see, our video is now split. After splitting the video, click on the video section that you want to be removed. So this is the part that I want to remove. So after highlighting or selecting it, click delete or press delete on your keyboard, and you see it's now removed. And now our video is starting from the part where I selected. Now trimming your videos can also apply in between your videos. Let's say scroll in your project, and then you find this part over here penye hauku unataka. So you can just scroll all over your timeline so that you can identify the parts that you want to remove on your video. Let's say hapa ni pengine umepata huku unaongea. You can just repeat the same process that I've done. You drag your playback head all the way to the section that you want to cut. Nataka kuanzia hapo. So you click on it, and then you drag your playback head again to the other part of the video that you want to begin. So after you have dragged your playback head, you click on it again, and then select the section that you want to remove, and then press delete on your keyboard, and it's going to be removed, and therefore you have this kind of output. As you can see, it has jumped the section that I wanted to remove. So I'm going to go ahead and remove all this section. I don't want this video to be very long, so I'm going to remove all that section So basically this is just a sample video that I'm using to show you how to edit your videos. So we are going to move on to the next part of editing your videos, and this is called the adding a b-roll. Now a b-roll is basically a video footage, or basically another clip that you want to add on top of your video. And a b-roll can either be a video footage or a video clip, or even a picture, or even a sample text that you want to add on top of your video as it is playing. Like for example, we can use this image here as a b-roll. So what I'm going to do is drag it all the way to the top of this video. As you can see, it has come to the top layer of the video. So if I go ahead and play it, you see what it will do. It is going to first of all play the video that is on top of this video, or if it is an image, it is first of all going to show you the image that is on top of this video. And again, you can add as many b-rolls as you want. You can add multiple b-rolls on the same layer. So again, let us say you want to add another b-roll on your video. This time I'm going to add a video on top of that video. I'm just going to select this one, and like we did before, we drag it all the way first of all to the media part, and then we are going to drag it from the media part all the way to this section. Now as you can see, there is an image. It doesn't have audio, but this other video that I've added right now has audio. Now if I play it, it's going to play both this audio and this audio, but I don't want that because it's going to bring a kind of a distraction. It's going to bring a kind of a horrible, the output is going to be horrible, and therefore let us first of all cut this video so that it can match the length of this video. Actually, what I'm going to do is just cut it here. I don't want the rest of this video to be played, so I'm going to remove it just like we did in my other video. So there we go. I want this video to play up to that section, but again, I don't want this audio to be heard or be played when this video is progressing. So what we do, there are two methods of doing this. So you can first of all click on this line over here. As you can see, hapa hivi kuna ka line ka audio. Now this line basically represents the volume of the audio. So what we are going to do is drag it all the way down, and therefore when we play our video, the audio cannot be heard because we have just reduced the volume. Another way of doing this is right click on this video that you don't want its audio to be heard, and then click on detach audio. So what we have done, after detaching the audio, it is going to separate the video from its audio, and therefore after separating the video from its audio, we select the audio and then press delete on your keyboard, and therefore when we play that video, there is no audio at all. So there is still another way to mute audio. So I'm just going to first of all undo. I'm going to first of all undo the changes that I've done so that we can have our audio back to this video. The other way of muting the audio is basically right clicking and then click on mute. When you press mute, you can see the audio part of the video has changed its color and now it's gray, meaning that it's muted. So as I play the video, there is no audio that can be heard, or there is no audio that is playing in the background. And again, as the audio is playing, you can see the video which is on top of this video is being shown first instead of this video which is on the bottom layer. So that is what I basically mean by a B-roll. It's something that is above the layer of another video. So the other thing you can do when you are editing your project is you can move these videos and clips around as you maybe progress on working on your project. Tuseme maybe umekaa chini ukaona hapana, hii video inafaa kuwa hii side. You can always drag it to the place that you want on your timeline. You can always play around with these videos according to the way that you want. So what I'm going to do is move this part over here. There we go. And again, if you want to maybe match this video to a certain section, let us say hii vida unataka ianze immediately after this waveform over here. You can always use your playback head to measure an accurate position. Let us say you want your video to start somewhere from there. So after putting your playhead to the place that you want your video to start, you can now go ahead and place your video head near the playback head, and therefore it is going to match the length, it is going to match penye inataka your vida ianze according to the section of the audio that you want your video to play. And there we go. Tuseme ulikuwa unataka ianze hapo, you can see it has now become possible for it to be placed on the section that you want. So the next thing I'm going to show you is now placing the titles, or basically the text that you want. Maybe you want to add a text. Maybe you want to add a certain text on your video. Maybe you want to add a name on your video as it is playing. So what we are going to do is come back here as we did before on the titles tab. And on this tab is where you're going to select all the types of texts that are there. Like I said, all you have to do is first of all double click on the text that you want, so that you can preview how it looks like. So what we are going to do is I'm going to basically select this text over here. Let me first of all preview it. Yes, this is the one that I want. After selecting it, all I'm going to do is place it to the place that I want it to begin. Let us say maybe nataka ianze, I want my text to be viewed from this section of the video. So I'm going to place it right there. After placing it, you can see it is first of all playing the sample. It is playing the sample text that which is your title here, that kind of sample text. So to edit this text, what we are going to do is double click on it. When you double click on it, it is going to show you the basics or the various settings that are there to your text. So we shall just come here and maybe write something like Willy iRONiX. Oh, this is the bottom part of the text. But I don't think it has a problem, so I'm just going to double click again here and then write Willy iRONiX. So there we go. So there's my text, and that is how it looks like. Now it is right now it is white in color, so it cannot be seen clearly. So what I'm going to do is drag all the way, or scroll all the way to the bottom to the place where it says text color, and here is where I can select the color that I want, be it pink, be it red or black. So we are going to select black. As you can see, it has now changed. Let me also select this subtitle here, and then we are going to make it black so that it can be visible to you. So after making your text, after selecting the settings that you want your text to be in, let us say you want to change the font, you can always come here and select the font that you want, and also you can select the size that you want your font to be in, and also the font type, be it bold, italic, and I think also underlined is here. No, it's not there. But anyway, you can always select the settings that you want according to the style that you want. You can always select these styles over here. As you can see, it is now changing according to the kind of text that you want. So you can do all that stuff according to the kind of settings that you want. So you can also change the animation. You can also put a little animation to your text, be it the wavy style. All of these animations are down here. We are going to go with this one over here. So what we are going to do is basically double click on, first of all select the text that you want to put the animation, and then double click on the kind of animation that you want to apply, and there we go. Our text is now animated, and then I'm just going to drag this text all the way up here. You can always drag this text to the location that you want. For example, I want this one to appear somewhere there. I think it's okay there. Let me just resize this one, and there we go. If I go ahead and play the video, as you can see, that is quite amazing. Hiya. So the next thing I'm going to show you are the effects and transitions. So I'm just going to click here OK, because we are done with this text section, and then we now go to transition. Transition is basically changing from one clip to another as your video is going on. Like for example, if these are two different sorry, these are two different clips, as you can see. So when this video is playing, it is now transitioning to another clip. And there are various styles that you can use when you want to your video. There are various styles that you can use as your video is transitioning. For example, there are these basic styles, which the first one is dissolve, fade, flash, erase, cube. All this stuff, ranging from the basic up to the craziest kind of transition that you want. Let us preview this dissolve. Let us first of all preview this one. As you can see, it is showing you that the video is kind of dissolving as it is playing. If we select fade, yeah, that is the kind of output that you are going to have. If we select flash, yeah, that is the kind of output that we are going to have. Again, erase is another one. So for example, if I want to use this erase, I'm going to place it up to the place that I want my video, up to the place where my video is now changing. So again, if I place it there, here it is. Niki place hapo and then I play the video, it has now changed. It has now moved on to the next clip, or the clip that is on top of this video. So you can always play again, you can always play around with the transition part. If you want to lengthen it, you can always lengthen it, and this is how it's going to look like. If I lengthen it, as you can see, it's now a bit slow. And again, you can shorten it. If I shorten it, that is how it's going to look like. There we go. It's a bit quicker. It all depends on the kind of transition that you want. You can always select from this menu over here any kind of transition that you are going to select. That will all depend on you. So the next part that I'm going to show you is the effects part, and this is one of the kind of interesting part, because there are basic effects that you can add to your video, and Filmora comes with its own library of effects. For example, we have strong glitch, mosaic effect. If you want your video to look a bit more classic, you can always select this 70s style. If you want a chromatic abbreviation, that is this kind of shaky effect, you can select this one over here. And there are many of them. Some of them you have to download them. If you have internet connection, you can always download them, and some of them come inbuilt. They come inbuilt, so you don't have to have internet connection in order to download them. So again, just like we did with the transitions or any other clip on the media section, just select the effect that you want. Like for example, let us select this strong glitch. I'm going to place it somewhere here. You can place it anywhere that you want. So let us say I want it to begin at that point. That is how it's going to look like. Again, you can move it around up to the section that you want. Even if it's at the topmost layer, it doesn't matter. Just make sure that you are not interfering with the other clips on the layer. So if I wanted to start from there, you can see, and there we go. That is all about the effects. There's nothing much about the effect. It all depends on the kind of effect that you want. So the next thing I'm going to show you, let us go back to our media section. The next thing that I'm going to show you is how to add a background song on your video. Now this is basically the audio part. If you look at the timeline over here, we basically have two main parts. This is the video and audio layer. This is the main layer, which consists of your video, picture and audio. And the next part over here is the audio layer, where you can place any kind of music that you want. So let us say you want to add a background song. I'm going to use one of mine over here. You can drag it the same way that we did with the video clips and pictures. can first of all place it up there. After placing the audio up there, you can now drag it all the way down here, as you can see, and you can move it around anywhere you want according to the section that you want it to begin. Tuseme unataka ianze hapa mwanzo, you can always place it in the beginning here. And as you can see, as I play the audio, it is playing simultaneously with the audio of the video. So sometimes this audio is going to be a bit louder than the primary audio, which is now your audio. So what I'm going to do is, like we did before, you are going to point at this line and you are going to see that the cursor has changed into a kind of a hand icon. And when you have selected this line, drag it all the way down according to the volume level that you want. So if I place it at that level, this is how it's going to sound. Again, you don't want your background song to be too loud, and you don't want your background song again to be too quiet, because the audio, your audience wouldn't be able to hear anything. And again, you don't want it to be too loud that your audience cannot even hear what you want to convey, or the message that you want to convey. When you are adjusting your audio, I recommend that you use your headphones. When you are editing your video, I would highly recommend that you use your headphones so that you can be able to get most out of the audio that you are playing. Like for example, there is some audio you cannot be able to hear on your normal speakers. Maybe there was some background noise, and when you're using your normal speakers, you can't be able to hear it. So in order to get the best out of your audio, make sure you use your headphones so that you can be able to hear each and every section, each and every tiny sound that is in that video. And if you want to remove it, you can always do it the same way that we did in our last clips. Like for example, if I want this, as you can see, our audio is it's more lengthy than our video, so we are just going to select it and trim it up to there. The rest of the audio nataka itoke, so I'm just going to press delete. Select this and then press delete. Now, one thing I like to add on audio is, if you want to adjust your audio levels, this is one way of doing it. You can always use this line over here. Thanks to this application, it is a bit easy to adjust your audio when you are editing your videos. You don't have to go deep into the settings over here. You can just come and grab this line and drag to the volume level that you want. Another way of adjusting your audio settings is by coming to this icon over here. This is the audio mixer, and when you click on it, it is going to show you all the various sounds that are in your project. This is for video 1, video 2, video 3, video 4. They are going to arrange themselves like that. So video 1 is basically the audio that is contained in the first layer, which is our primary layer. Video 2 is basically the video that we added on top of this video, which is this one over here. Yeah, it's around here. It's around here. This is the audio 2. And audio 3 is basically the background song that we added down here. So when you play them, you're going to see the various levels that they are in. So this is our first video that is playing up here, and as you can see, the the colors keep on, these colors are showing up here to show you the level of the volume that they are using right now. So you can come here and adjust the volume that you want. You don't want your video to be, you don't want your volume to be on the red color, because the red means that your video sound is very high. The video is too loud. So again, you don't want your videos to be in the red part, so I'm going to just drag it down all the way up there. And again, you don't want your videos to be too quiet, so the best level that I can advise you is the yellow, this yellow color. Let us play it again. Ukitaka vizuri, make sure your videos are in the yellow line at least, or at most. Make sure your videos are at the yellow section or still remain in the green section. And again, you don't want your videos to be too quiet, so don't make it too high and don't make it too low. So just make it just make sure your volume level is to the medium, where it is much more or loud enough for your audience to hear. So that's all much about the audio section. So I'm just going to press OK. And before I forget, this section over here also has this whole audio mixer also has the master volume, which basically comprises of all these sounds collectively all together. So the master sound is going to show you, it's going to show you the volume level of all these videos of all these audios when combined. So master volume is basically the audio of these two all together. So I'm just going to press OK. We are done with the audio section. Now the next thing you may want to know is how to increase the video brightness or maybe adjust the color settings on your video. So to do that, all you're going to do is, first of all, select the video that you want or the clip in which you want to adjust the brightness. So let's say nihi, just double click on it and it's going to provide you with these settings over here. So it's basically going to automatically transfer you to the color section. This is where you can either adjust your color enhancement, the threshold or value. These ones mostly depend, or they mostly deal with the brightness of your video. There's white balance if you want to add the temperature of the video. As you can see, the video is kind of changing. You can always adjust it to the level that you want. If you want to give it a little bit of tint, you can always just come to the white balance section and then drag it to the level that you want. If you want to adjust maybe the brightness or the contrast or the saturation of the video, you can always come to the tone section and then adjust your video contrast or even the video saturation if you want it to look a bit more nika imeongezwa sukari, let me use that term, ni kama imeongezwa kachumvi hivi. You can always come and select the level that you want. If you want to adjust the brightness, if you want to increase or decrease it, you can always put the value that you want. So we are done with this part. Let us press OK. And one other thing, let me add another thing. When you double click your video, it is going to not only show you the color settings but also the audio section or even the video section. Maybe you want your video to, you want to add some more advanced effects to your video, you can transform it. You can go to the transform section and select the settings that you want. For example, if I want my video to rotate, you can always rotate it to the kind of angle that you want. If you want to give it a scale, you can always come here and select or adjust it to the scale that you want. So I'm just going to leave it at there. Let me just leave it at there. You can also do you can also adjust the opacity of your video. If you want it to look a little bit faint, you can always adjust your level to the way that you want. You can also do some motion tracking, stabilization. If maybe your video was kama video yako ulikuwa una record ukishake, you can always come to the stabilization part and activate it. So I'm not going to do that because my video is not shaky. You can always adjust the edges of your video. If you want your video to be a bit more fine, if you want your video edges to be more fine, you can always come to this part of the chroma key and adjust your edges. Now this part of the chroma key mostly deals with the videos that okay, how can I explain this? Have you ever seen those TikTok videos where people kind of do duets? So if maybe that your project consists of a video here, maybe your video is over here and this other video is over here. Let us select it. And maybe this other video is over here. Let me use this one. And maybe this other section of the video is up here. You can always try to adjust the edges of the video so that these two videos can look as if they were it's a bit hard to explain. These two videos are going to look as if they are one, and therefore you can always come and adjust the edges so that you can make them look alike. So I'm just going to undo this part. These are most of the settings that you are going to see when you double click your videos, and you can always play around with them. One thing I say about computers and also other kinds of stuff, in order to understand these things, one thing you have to do is just play around with them, and eventually you'll understand what each of the element in a computer does. For example, you can play around with the animations, play around with the audio, play around with these settings that I've shown you, and you are eventually going to understand them all along. Now, last but not least, the next thing that the final thing that you are going to do after you have finished editing your videos and after you have played it all through and made sure that there are no mistakes, the next thing that you are going to do, oh, there is a mistake here. I forgot to drag this one to its original location. Let me just drag it there. So the next thing I'm going to show you is now exporting and rendering your video using Filmora. Now, before or after you have done doing all the editing stuff on your video, you might want to go back and play it again all through so that you can make sure that there are no mistakes. You can proofread. Let me use the word proofread. You can proofread your project so that you can check whether there are any errors that you left out, or even the kind of maybe kuna mahali uli misplace kitu, maybe you wanted this video to play here, maybe ukajipata umeplay back there. So you can first of all proofread your videos so that you can check whether there are any errors. And when you have made sure that your video is okay, we come now to this part on top here called export. When you click on export, you're going to see these options. There is the create video. It is going to it's going to prompt you now to enter the name of the video that you've now created. Then this video, you can either export it to a device, upload it to YouTube, upload it on to Vimeo, or even burn it on a DVD. So right now we are just going to create a video out of this project. So after you've selected create video, it is going to bring you this window where you can input the name of the video. Let us just call it Willy's video. You can always use the name that you want. After naming it, the same way you do on your word processors when you're saving a document, you can come here and select the location in which you want your video to be saved. So I'm going to place it on the desktop. No, well, let us not use desktop. I'm going to place it on new volume H. So select folder. It is going to show you the resolution of that video, which is 1080 to 1920 to 1080. Which, that is full HD, and you can always change it to the resolution and frame rate that you want. You can either select 320 to 240, that is quite low, 352 to 288, that is again very low. You can also select the highest, which is 4K, or even add your own custom dimensions. So we are going to leave it at 1920 by 1080. These other settings, you can always leave your encoder setting to H.264. Frame rate, the one that I recommend is 24 frame rates per second, but it all depends on the kind of video that you are making. So let us just leave it at frame rate 24 frame rates per second. If you don't know what frame rate is, I'm going to in future I'm going to explain all about what frame rates are and what they do to affect your video. So don't worry, if you don't know what frame rates frame is, just leave it at 24 frame rates. It's okay, that one is good. And again, you don't have to mess with these settings. If you don't know about frame rates, if you don't know about resolution, just leave the settings as they are. Don't worry, it won't affect anything, so long as you recorded your video in a device which has high quality. So you can also select your video format which you want your video to be in. If you want your video to be outputted as MP4, WMV, AVI, all the way to MKV, all the way to MP3, you can always select the kind of format that you want. The device part also deals with the kind of format that you want your video to be in. Maybe you want your video to be suited to play on an iPhone, iPad, Apple TV, or all the way to the smart TV or even PlayStation. You can always select the kind of format you want your video to be in. So we are just going to leave it at the iPhone level. Again, you can use this part, this YouTube section. One thing that Filmora has as a feature is being able to upload your video directly to YouTube. You can always do that, but this I don't recommend this because maybe unaweza enda after exporting your video, after outputting your final output, unaweza enda ucheze hiyo video and then you find that maybe there is something else that you wanted to add. So I don't recommend this section. I don't recommend using this section, but if you feel like you want to use it, you can always use it to upload your videos or your project directly to YouTube. You can also upload it directly to Vimeo if you are on Vimeo, which is another video search engine. And also you can burn your video to your DVD disc. So I'm just going to come back here to local and press export. So after clicking export, you're just going to give it some time so that your video can finish rendering, or in other words, what we call compiling all the stuff that we placed on our timeline so that it can be now created as a video. The amount of time that rendering or basically exporting is going to take depends on the speed of your PC. If your PC is a bit slow, it's going to take some more time. And again, it also depends on the length of your video and also the quality or the number of items that you added to your video, be it the number of clips, be it the number of pictures, animations, be it on all that, be it on the amount of all that stuff that you added to your video. So just give it some time to reach 100%. Now, since it's going to take some time before it finishes rendering, I'm going to jump to the next section of the video where I show you how the video is now going to look like. And there we go. Our video has now finished exporting. So after the rendering process is done, you can click on close. You can now close this section. And again, you can save this project so that in case you feel like you want to add something in the future in this video, all you have to do is just go back to your project and do some editing to the part that you want to add. The same way that you save a document on your word processor so that you can now go back to your document and edit or add some other stuff, the same case applies here. So we are going to save this project. Again, select the location that you want your project to be saved in and give it a name. Let's say my video. So you save, give it a few seconds maybe to save depending on your computer. After that, you can now go to the location where your video has been exported. In this case, I'm going to go to volume H, and you can use the video player that you want, be it VLC, be it Windows Media Player, depending on your video format. And there is our video. So there is our video. This is just a sample. Okay, I know it kind of doesn't make sense because this is just a sample video that I wanted to show you with. So yeah, that is basically how you edit using your PC. Now in the next section, I'm going to show you how to edit your videos using a smartphone.